Hello, everyone.
Welcome back.
We are about to watch the Dune Part 3 official trailer.
It's been a while since we responded to the teaser, and now it's hype time. It is the official trailer. Let's go.
3 months ago, real quick. It's been 3 months since we got a trailer.
Yeah, it feels
I was
like-
asking myself, when's the next time they're going to release a trailer? It's been a while. So,
Got
this
my
is crazy.
Dune shirt for this occasion.
This is crazy. Okay, we're starting it. We're starting it. I'm actually hyped.
I trusted you! You promised me that you would never take power in your name. You convinced me that this was your home. That I was your home.
What do you know about me?
You have conquered the galaxy. You've destroyed thousands of worlds.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think you're way beyond redemption.
Why are you here?
To deliver a peace proposal.
Peace is a good thing. Why should I refuse?
Because it's meant to destroy you.
We plan to strike at the core of Imperial power.
You intend to kill Paul?
Regime change.
Idiot. You've just signed our death warrants.
I found someone. The future has a way of talking to me. But I can't see what's ahead.
How does it feel to be human like everyone else, Paul Atreides?
You have no fear, do you?
I fear dishonor.
You sound like an Atreides.
I've been told I was one.
Forgive me for all I've done.
Can you start?
Well, there's not much I can say because I don't know anything about the book, and you're the one who read it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to process it right now about like what they're changing and what they're keeping the same. A lot of people have been talking about how the writers have condensed the third book and the second book into overlapping with each other, which I think is a pretty good idea in terms of adapting the movies because I don't think we're ever going to get anything beyond Children of Dune. But I will say that I am hesitant to be excited for the Chani stuff. It looks like they really did change her character completely. And I might stand corrected when the movie comes out. Because obviously they haven't showed us the meat and bones of her character arc in this movie. Just some shots here and there. But they featured her more prominently in this trailer than the teaser. But I am a little bit dismayed to see that she really is going to be this antagonistic force against Paul, which is I'm not saying that Paul is like a protagonist, but I don't know. He's a protagonist in the strict sense, but obviously not like the hero or anything. But what I don't like is them making Chani like the force for good, because she's one of the most important characters in this book. that acts as Paul's like foil. Well, not quite a foil per se, but she's an anchor for him. And one of the best parts of this book is the introspective nature of like how power has affected all facets of society due to the intervention of the Muad'Dib upon the universe. But everything else looks pretty cool, obviously. I like the first teaser better. I think it was more cinematic. It seems that they were just showing a bunch of different shots in this trailer, and don't get me wrong, I am ecstatic to see this movie still, but that shot where they were showing like sand as sort of the psychedelic aspect of his prescience was really cool, because one of my main issues in the first movie was them not diving into a more trippy visual approach for his visions. So it looked like they did something sort of fresh. They kind of echoed the cinematic parts of Project Hail Mary when they did like the bokeh specs for the astrophage, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm trying to get over my initial disappointment with Chani right now, because I want to be positive. But the Duncan Idaho stuff looks really good. Looks like they're going to do that character pretty well and pretty accurate. Not that you have to even really change much in the first place. Like, he's a very straightforward character in the book. Let's see.
I will say the color grading and the use of film present in this trailer is really, really sick. Like, obviously the argument scene right there between Chani and Paul is very like clearly filmed, and then just the color grading in some of these sequences. Like, there was one when they were going on the beach shore, and they're using the natural sunlight really well, along with color grading applied after, and it just looks awesome like that.
That shot was cool with Stilgar.
So, yeah, I do think the last trailer was better. I think it was a much better paced trailer than this one. It felt like they were, like Micah was saying, just throwing things at me. Again, I haven't read the book, so it's not like I really have much to say in terms of like, I don't know, I guess the trailer did do its job in the sense that it is marketing to everyone, but it almost felt like this trailer was made for the people who read the books already. Because the first trailer was so, I don't know, directly related to the end of part 2, and also just selling us on the fact that Paul is becoming a true emperor right now, is becoming the ruler of the universe. So I don't know, like I got that entire point from the last trailer, but this trailer was just like literally jumping across multiple moments in the movie. Some had to do with Paul, some didn't. And it's cool to see these things, but I'm also a little bit confused on what the plot even is through this trailer. The last trailer clearly told us what the plot was, which again, if you've read Dune Messiah or you're even vaguely familiar with the plot, you know what the plot of Dune Messiah is, and you know what largely the plot will be for this movie. But I felt pretty confused by the sequences of events in this. I feel like Robert Pattinson's character is not like, there's nothing really shown about him, and it feels like they're still trying to show us, like they're trying to win us over that he's on screen, but nothing was really shown. It was just like,
I want to say something about that. So a lot of people were rightly disappointed by the use of modern ways of talking and script writing for the Odyssey and what we've seen with that. I'm on that side. I don't think that writing modern ways of the way people speak is necessarily the right approach for making films right now. And I don't like the way that Scytale sounded in this. When he said regime change to Princess Irulan, it didn't feel like that. One of my favorite aspects of Frank Herbert's writing is the way he writes dialogue. He has this really good sense of creating a space where you can really sit with each character, but the way they talk to each other is actually very gripping. Like, one of the best scenes in any book I've read was in Dune Part 1, which is the dinner scene, which is what everyone likes, really. It's not like a hot take or anything to like that. But when I read that scene in Dune Part, the first book, I was like, wow, this guy has a really cool style for writing character moments. And just, he writes dialogue in a way that is like, there's meaning behind what the characters say. It's like the political action is happening through the words. And that's why it doesn't really show that much action in the books. And I don't know, I need to go back and reread this book. It's been, I guess, five or 6 years since I've read it for the first time. But I know I'm nitpicking like at a microscopic level right now, but I didn't really like the way that Scytale sounded. I thought he should be a little bit more conniving and like sly and mysterious, actually. And just the way he was talking to Irulan was just so matter of fact and modern. I don't know. I guess you have to use modern words for like a film adaptation in 2026, but it shouldn't have to be that way. And I think everyone knows that too. Like, I don't like this. I don't like reducing very like archetypal characters. Scytale is not an archetypal character, but I'm making a broader point. I don't like reducing characters that are meant to be commentary and like embody archetypes into like relatable characters, which is kind of what I talk about in my Superman video about like the whole iconoclasm behind the Superman character in the Superman 2025 movie. But I don't know. I'm getting a little bit of that energy in this movie. Not as much as with Odyssey, thank God. But like this seems like a very how do you say, like, grounded look at the characters, which it's not, man, it's really hard to figure out what I'm trying to say. I don't know, like, if you looking at Paul in this movie and what they've shown us now as opposed to the teaser trailer, he is painted much more as a villain. And Frank, I think a lot of people get this wrong when they talk about the whole point of the Dune books, because I, like a lot of people, when I was first getting into them, was looking for discourse online and commentary, and you know, the whole commentary is that we're not supposed to trust charismatic leaders to a fault because they can lead to atrocities. But really, that sort of line of commentary went too far to where they're like, Paul is straight up a bad person, villain type character. And actually, if you go back and look at Frank Herbert's interviews, he deliberately writes Paul to be a sort of enigmatic person with good traits, good character traits. And his whole point is that sometimes when power, or not sometimes, his thesis is whenever power accrues behind a single person, it doesn't matter if the person's good. He doesn't actually strictly view Paul as a villain. Now, in Dune Messiah, it becomes more clear that he's a villain because Paul compares himself with the great dictators of the past, and I won't spoil that section for anyone that reads the book. But there's a really good conversation between two major characters in that scene that I'm talking about. But Paul is more like aware of his atrocities in this book. But the larger story of Dune is about prescience. It's about free will. It's about what choices are there for us in this life, you know? And it's always going to be about the way that power slithers in society. But I don't know, Paul is the focal point of this book, and a lot of it is from his perspective. And what I don't like to see is that they're kind of reducing him to a one-note villain in this movie. From what I can see, I can be proven wrong again, but he's way too cold in this trailer for my tastes. He's very stoic in the book, but it's like a tender stoicism. It's like Revenge of the Sith when Anakin is looking across Coruscant and he's crying because he knows he's about to become Darth Vader. That's Paul's character in the book. He's disturbed by his own power, and he knows that he doesn't have a choice in the matter. The whole point is he basically rode a wave of inevitability that led to his ascendancy, and he didn't really have this autonomy, especially when it came to Prescience. As Prescience unfolds and you learn more about it in the Dune books, it's like the Force in a way where characters are able to tap into hyper aware senses, essentially, but it becomes a device that's I don't know. Frank Herbert he brilliantly crafts this dichotomy between free will and determinism, where the people that have this ability are victims of it. And so Paul is a victim of his prescience in this. He's not necessarily this evil mustache twirling villain that the trailer portrays him as. I mean, we need to maybe watch it again, but I just got his cold deliveries. It's oversaturated with that. And some of the best moments in the book are when he's with Chani, in the midst of this conflict. Dune is not supposed to be this black and white mustache twirling villain versus the female protagonist at this point. We don't need Rey Skywalker versus
Mustache Man.
I'm being a little bit too cynical right now. I'm still excited for the movie. I'm really excited, but this is just kind of me. I kind of focus on the negatives before I can accept the positives because I'm just so jaded from Hollywood at this point. But I still really like what's going on, and a lot of people in the comments have been warning me about being overly excited because I'm sure a lot of people are jaded too. But I don't know. What do you think?
I can't get over how good this movie looks. It just looks gorgeous.
That shot is corrected. I feel like they were editing the movie in the past 3 months.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I don't remember it enough.
They showed that shot in the first one.
Yeah, I just don't remember how it looked in detail. But I very much enjoy how much dedication seems to be put in this movie, especially, shockingly, with the little amount of time that has taken place between the second part and this part.
I wanted to talk about that shot.
I cannot believe that, as people are pointing out in the comments, that this trilogy has completed itself in the manner of 5 years.
True. That's crazy.
It's almost like a beautiful thing and kind of a concerning thing for me.
Oh, that shot.
It's a concerning thing for me because though from the first trailer I was extremely excited off of the the beauty of seeing this movie even exist, given the fact that back when part 1 came out, my brother and I didn't even think part 2 would be greenlit.
Oh yeah.
It's still concerning to me that Denis' instinct after part 2's success was to immediately go into filming this and completing it, because even though I understand his reasoning behind it, usually just momentum reasons, just making sure that he didn't want to leave the world and he wanted to keep the momentum going and just kind of really get it done because everything was just there for him. And everything was falling right into place. It was just perfect. I still think that a trilogy on this magnitude being completed in 5 years is quite an interesting thing to address. And I think with that in mind, it now poses a question: is Denis actually taking more creative liberties than we may have initially expected with this film? Because after part 2 released, we both discussed to each other and to our friends about how Chani was taken in a little bit of a different direction. And it really seems like in this trailer, they're going to continue in that direction and potentially make Chani this, I don't know, just person in complete opposition to Paul. Maybe not complete, but at least majority opposition. And that's not, as I'm aware of, true to her character in a complete sense from the novel. So I don't know. There's a lot of things I could say. I think I'm just a little bit concerned. Most of it doesn't really come from this trailer. It comes from, as Micah pointed out, just how awful films have been this year and how terrible Hollywood has been this year. We both are basically choosing not to see the Odyssey because, oh, we're so close-minded. No, it's actually because there are a lot of terrible PR decisions going behind the scenes and terrible casting decisions that we do not have to point out for you to understand who we're addressing, to make us realize very easily that this film, The Odyssey, is not in line with how Christopher Nolan used to release films before. And not to say that Dune Messiah will fall under that category. I think it will fall far from that category.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think there's just this sense of trauma that's happening right now with trusting Hollywood after, slop like Supergirl came out and, Toy Story 5 being like the 5th in the series all the way to the Odyssey. All these films are just brain dead to us now, and we want something actually refreshing. And this whole time, especially after I just saw Toy Story 5 and I just heard about Supergirl bombing and the Odyssey releasing this Friday, I was basically like, look, I'm at a point where Dune Messiah, Dune Part 3, is the only film I'm actually looking forward to this year. But that is what makes me concerned.
Yeah.
Because
last year, the only movie that he was looking forward to a fault was Superman, and Matthew hated that movie.
I ended up hating that movie, and I don't want that to happen again.
He went into like a vow of silence for nearly 48 hours.
I don't want that to happen again. I don't want that to occur with this film because I actually, even though I have not read the books, I have become a huge fan of the films since the first part came out in 2021. And I've put a lot of hype and energy into the release of this film. And I don't know. I'm just a little skeptical right now.
Well, okay.
I think everything's looking great on surface level. Everything's looking great on surface level, but I just am concerned that too many creative liberties are going to be taken. And that doesn't mean that creative liberties are bad. Some of my favorite adaptations of novels in cinema actually take a lot of creative routes that were not originally in the novel. But I still just think that this film really needs to be careful. Like, Denis just has to be really careful with what he does.
Let's inject some hope into this conversation. So, all that being said, I still view this movie as a triumph, like Matthew was saying, because, or like you were talking about with the timeline of making this whole entire project, because we gotta respect the fact that Dune came out at a time where cinema was basically in question of its very existence because of COVID. And I still remember going to see Tenet in the theater and seeing the teaser for Dune, and that was just an insane experience because the whole theater was empty except for me and my friend who read the books with me for the first time, and we were just to the moon when we saw that teaser. And when Dune Part 1 came out, that was still at a time when going to the movies was still not like guaranteed to be what it was for the infancy of Hollywood all the way to then. Right? And so for this movie to even exist, it feels like a triumph of, okay, the movies are here to stay, but the whole balance between that is like, okay, well, a lot of movies lately have not been great. In fact, they've just been bad. Or if they weren't bad, they've been so mediocre that it's not worth spending your hard-earned money in the economy that we're all struggling to pay groceries for, So I feel like, once again, this movie's coming out at a weird time where there's this like convergent energy of pressure. The pressure on the first one was that it was coming out at a time when the entire medium was like suspended essentially, and direct to streaming was entering the conversation because of all that. But now it's in this time frame of like, okay, a lot of movies are just really trite studio projects that are helmed by people that don't care about the subject matter, and they can't hide it anymore through the script, and it's just sort of insulting to waste money on. And so it's like, okay, it's standing alone again. So it's this weird, like, negative thing, but also really positive because it's still existing as a defiant push of why movies are important to make. Now, the shot that I really want to talk about, instead of this meta conversation about like the state of movies, we can just talk about some things that we liked. But oh my gosh, the throne room looks really cool. It's still not what I pictured, and it's not really accurate to the book. But one of my nitpicks about Dune, when it was first getting adapted and we hadn't seen the trailer yet, and they were just showing images in magazines of the photography, was it's like overly brutalist design aesthetic. Whereas Frank Herbert, he describes very contrasting aesthetics in the different settings. And one of the cool parts about the whole Atreides vibe was that they were this fusion of very ancient, like European-esque aesthetics. So it looked like very colorful dresses, and like wood was a very central element. And you could maybe imagine it as Art Deco and like some medieval stuff. I don't know. It was just like a really cool experiment with how a futurist society would look, because it was kind of like this fusion of ancient stuff. Or I mean, ancient in this universe. But I guess what I'm saying is that when it was adapted, I was like to the moon that we were even getting someone like Denis Villeneuve on a project called Dune. And I was like, it can look like whatever. It looks amazing, you know? I'm not even really critiquing the fact that it was brutalist in the first. I think it's cool. But I was, as a fan of what I was imagining, I was like, whatever. That's just something we're going to have to sacrifice. But in this, there are colors seeping through the cracks in the throne room. There's like carpet that has a specific design, which is way different from the first movie. And there's a lot more fluid curves in the design of like the chair. And it's more colorful, like you said, which is really cool. Like, I like that they are sort of evolving the look of what, Arakeen looks like in the throne room. But it is kind of, even with all that positive that I just said, it is kind of disappointing that, like, from the looks of it, the throne room doesn't look large like Frank Herbert deliberately describes in the book, which is one of the coolest parts. He describes, like, he sort of starts to give you this look, chisel by chisel, of what the Empire looks like after Paul took over the universe. And one of the coolest aspects was that his throne room was like one of the largest rooms you could ever be in, like, in your life. And you had to basically spend 5 to 10 minutes walking down the hall. It's in the same room. It's this giant room. And it's to basically intimidate anyone that walks into a meeting with the Emperor. It's like you spend like 5 minutes just walking straight, right? You can see the chair in the distance, but it's like you are so small and insignificant, and you're about to talk to the Emperor. Like, that's cool. It's like a really original way of using design and architecture to send a message. I don't know. And it's like, I like the aesthetics of what they showed, but it's still like, oh man, we could get that moment. But no, the movie looks great. You're right. It's a lot more of a film.
Well, it's just color graded really creatively. Like, I keep saying it over and over again, but the color grading is extremely expressive. In this trailer, like, it's not as expressive in part 2. I know we opened with that crazy, like, orange sequence, but I don't know. There's a lot of, like, very vibrant shots in this. I don't think it's our TV. I think that the color grading is just extremely deliberate. The throne room scene right here is like filled with colors. like the skin tones on like Jason Momoa
Yeah.
and Timothy Chalamet are very vibrant. So I don't know. I'm just excited overall for the movie, but I don't feel super excited from this trailer. I feel more excited from the last
I
one.
agree.
I don't really understand the editing behind this trailer at all. There was someone in the comments that was it's like all the comments were just such bot comments. Like half of them
Wait,
was
really?
yeah, half of them was like clout chasing over the fact that over what I just said about the trilogy being only 5 years old, which obviously I pointed out because I saw the comments, but the comments themselves were like, "Dude, it's crazy that dude, it's crazy that this trilogy is like 5." It's like I get it, get your likes, all right. Now someone else pointed out the fact that this movie like I'm losing my train of thought, but there were just comments out here that were talking about that the editing of this trailer is so good. Like the person who created this trailer needs to get a raise, and I'm like, no. The person who edited the trailer, the first one,
Yeah, that was a truly epic trailer.
needs to get a raise. That won me over immediately. This trailer was confusing, and the fact that my brother, who's read the book up and down, also feels the same way makes me feel like I'm not just like the odd one out here. Obviously, there's a lot of people who love this trailer, given the comments, but I just don't really. I don't feel like the point of the movie is being sold to me at all through this trailer. I feel like it's just telling me, oh, this is the conclusion, guys. Lots of stuff is going down, instead of like what is actually the plot of this movie. Like you're just jumping between characters. I don't know. It's not bad. I'm not. This is a much better trailer than the majority of ones that get made. But in regards to the first trailer, I think it could have done a much better job. Especially if this is actually going to be the last or the second to last trailer before the movie comes out.
There's probably going to be one more.
Yeah. So there's that.
Okay, even though what you said about the color looks good, I might be tripping, but I feel like they went back and recolor graded some shots. And some of them that I have a hunch that they did this to, I'm not pleased that they did it, because in the first teaser there was a lot more of a blue presence. And I think the shot where he's on top of the platform talking to the people, kind of engaging them and getting them riled up, that might have been recolor graded. And I don't want that to be this warm thing. See, that looks recolor graded.
Yeah.
When it looks a little bit cooler, I think. See that scene right here, where he's marching up the steps. It looks a little bit warmer, and I don't really like that. I do like the warm stuff in other shots, but I don't know. I think the first teaser might have had a little bit better of a color grading in terms of the vibe of that scene. But I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and do a side by side and put it on screen or something. But overall, the movie still looks great. I'm not as excited for this trailer just because the initial excitement that was spent, that my energy token was spent for excitement for the first teaser, which y'all can watch, by the way, on our channel. It's the first upload that we did. But yeah, I'm still excited. I'm disappointed with how much they're stretching the characters of Paul and Chani into... It seems like they're going further away from the center of their characters. But scenes like that where he's like encountering Duncan Idaho for the first time, that looks like 1-to-1 basically, from what I can tell, from the book to screen, which is going to be epic to see all those moments. And I'm still really excited to see what they merge from Children of Dune, because a lot of people have been talking about that, which they did not show in this trailer. I don't think there was anything from that book that was shown in this trailer. So they might still be withholding their hand a little bit, which is good. We don't really need everything force-fed to us. It's good to sort of have a rhythm to the movie rollout. What are your final thoughts?
That's basically it. I feel like I'm very excited to see it, but a lot has gone down in Hollywood since the first trailer came out. Shockingly, in the span of 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be excited over any film right now.
Supergirl fiasco,
Yeah.
Odyssey fiasco, Toy Story 5 came out.
I'm just not excited. We did see Minions in months.
Yeah, we saw the Minions movie last night.
Which I know might invalidate everything we're saying in this video. But you know, you gotta see the only, you know, movies out. There's no other option. There was no other option. Nothing else I wanted to see.
Spider-Man's coming out soon.
Oh gosh.
Avengers is coming out soon.
No.
We shall see how
Yay!
the big three are Dune, Spider-Man, and Avengers that are sort of the last possible high points for movies in 2026.
I hope Avengers just kills the MCU. Please, just kill it.
Okay, y'all thought I was cynical. This man is insanely cynical when it comes to Avengers.
Well, because the movie has no actual production. It's literally in the worst development hell I've ever seen for a movie.
I don't know. We'll see about that. I'm not super excited for that movie, nor am I really excited for Brand New Day. But I mean, I think Brand New Day will probably be better than Avengers.
Yeah.
Which is kind of insane to say. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Dune Part 3. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks for watching.
Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. We love engaging with y'all in the comments.
Yes.
So yeah, have a good one.